It's easy to talk about self-compassion, but actually living it day to day, that's where the real work comes in. If you've started talking kinder to yourself, but you're still feeling shame or guilt or having setbacks, this video is for you. In my last video, I talked about how to identify your inner critic and to reframe those thought patterns. Today, we're going to dig deeper into the healing process, and we're going to work on starting to shift the nervous system and the pathways in your body so that you can support yourself on every level. I've personally been working really hard to overcome negative self-talk in my own life. And if you are like me, where it affects multiple areas in your life and you have different types of negative self-talk, it can take some time. And you may notice that one or even a few areas come along a lot faster than others. It could even be that the area where you really want to overcome your negative thoughts more than anywhere, it can be the one that takes the longest. Don't get discouraged, just continue with it because it will start shifting and you'll notice it probably sooner than you think. I'll share an example from one area of my life that I've really been working hard to change this negative self-talk and just be more kind and compassionate to myself. In my business, I tend to be a perfectionist about things. I want whatever I am releasing out in the world to be not perfect, but to be the best version it can be. And that can mean a product I'm releasing, it might be a new package of healing sessions, or even this YouTube channel. And it's not that I'm really striving for them to be perfect. I just want them to be the best they can. This YouTube channel, for instance, has been a big challenge for me because I had so much resistance for so many reasons, just not wanting to be on camera, to be fully seen, to put myself out there and open myself up to the world, essentially, whoever can see this. And so I'm using this as a way to really push myself out of my comfort zone and to work on combating this negative self-talk that I have around it, of it not being good enough, or it not being perfect and me making mistakes or looking stupid or saying something silly or something I might regret later. And I have to just let it go and know that right now I'm doing the best that I can and I'm giving myself room to grow and improve. And normally I would look at some of my first videos and I would be so hard on myself to the point that I wouldn't have even posted them to begin with. I would have refilmed them until I was happy. And instead, I made the decision to post them in their imperfect form. So if you're looking at some of my previous ones and they start and I have this like deer in the headlight look, it's because I'm trying to remember what I want to talk about. I'm trying to tell if my camera is on and recording. And I left it that way intentionally. And I haven't went back and beat myself up about it. I've been okay because for me, I'm using it as a way to not only see my own growth, but to challenge myself to be okay with things not being perfect. And I'm being kinder to myself while I do it, which is helping me grow. What I've been doing in this process is I've really been working on building this new foundation for myself of self-compassion. And my hope is that while working on it in this one area, it's going to be that much easier to build that foundation so that it carries over into all the other areas. I'll talk a little bit about ways that you can work on building your own foundation for self-compassion, because there are a few different steps in different areas that you really want to touch on as you're doing this. When you're building a foundation for self-compassion, self-kindness matters. The way that we speak to ourselves matters so much more than we realize. Start noticing your inner dialogue, especially when you mess up, or when you feel overwhelmed, or if you didn't meet your own expectations. And when you notice these negative thoughts come up, Ask yourself, would I say this to a child or to someone I love? And then practice replacing the harsh thoughts with more compassionate ones, or something gentle like, I'm doing the best I can, or it's okay to have a hard day. We also need to remember that forgiveness is freedom. So many of us carry guilt or shame for things that we did or didn't do that happened years ago. But healing means letting go of that grip on these past memories and this past shame. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing the past. It's just acknowledging your humanity and choosing to move forward. As you're thinking about these things from the past, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How did this experience shape who I am today? And then use self-care as a reminder of your worthiness. Self-care isn't just bubble baths or green smoothies or journaling. It's about how you show up for yourself every day. Start tuning into what nourishes you. And that may be rest or creativity, saying no, connecting with nature, eating well, moving your body, breath work. Each act of self-care is an affirmation of your worthiness. It says, I matter. And you also need to celebrate yourself. We're so wired to notice what's wrong and not what's right. So when you're celebrating yourself and what's right, that actually takes more intention. You can keep a journal of wins. I like to do a gratitude journal where you're just writing down the smallest things that you're grateful for, or, the small wins in your day, like taking a break when you needed it, expressing a boundary, or on tough days, maybe it's just getting through the day. Your progress that you make, it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up every day and making an effort. There are two things you can do to start rewiring your brain to gravitate towards positive thoughts instead of negative ones. And those are using affirmations and visualizations. An important thing about working with affirmations is that you want them to feel true to you. Generic affirmations can feel fake, and they just might not resonate. So you want to craft your affirmations to meet you where you're at. You want them to be inspirational, but you also don't want them to be so out there that they trigger resistance. I find that the most powerful affirmations are ones that you write yourself because they can be really specific to what you're going through. But if that feels overwhelming, just start by doing a simple search online and see which ones trigger something in you that you get excited and you want to work with them. And then see where you can tweak them to customize them a little bit so they're a better representation of your specific need. And then once you have this affirmation or a list of affirmations that you really love, start practicing them. When repeating affirmations, you can speak them out loud, you can say them silently in your head, or you can even write them down. Some people really find it to be extremely powerful if they say their affirmations out loud into a mirror. So you're having a conversation with yourself. You're seeing yourself as you say these things. For other people, that feels silly, it's uncomfortable, and it will kind of, for them, do the opposite. It makes them just kind of reject it and cringe against it. Give it a try and see how it feels for you. There's really no right or wrong when you're saying affirmations with how you say it. It's just about what feels best for you. It's finding the way that you can work them into your day on a regular basis. Another way to rewire the brain is through visualization and by visualizing your future self. So the brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So you use this visualization as a way to rehearse what your life will be like when you are more confident in yourself and when you fully believe in yourself. And you can do this by taking 1 to 2 minutes or longer and just closing your eyes and visualizing this future version of yourself. And what I want you to think about are what you're doing on a day-to-day basis that's different from your life now. How do you feel? What's your daily routine like? And you can go really deep with this. It's however long you have to spend on it, but just really embracing it. You can take it from when you wake up until you go to sleep for the night, or you can just say, what is my overall feeling like in this life? But you just practice that and you visualize it. And as you're doing this, you're creating this blueprint that your brain can follow to get you there. So using affirmations and visualizations they're fun and they're an easy way to start rewiring your brain and healing your nervous system as you're doing this. It's all about making them fit into your routine and finding what works for you. It may be that you have an affirmation on a Post-it on your mirror, and it's the first thing you see when you wake up and the last thing you see before you go to bed, and you repeat it to start your day or to end your day. You may like to have an affirmation or do a visualization while you're sitting drinking your morning cup of coffee or tea. Or if you're out for a walk, you could be repeating your affirmations. If you need to, you can even set reminders on your phone that at certain times in your day, you go through your affirmations, or at one set time, you do your visualization for the day. Maybe it's right before bed so that then in your sleep, you can elaborate on that future self. There's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way. There's not a set amount of times in a day you need to do this. It's really just about consistency and getting into a habit of making this part of your daily life. Because the more you're doing these things, the faster you're going to see results. And as you're going through these things and you're building consistency and you're really building this great foundation to self-compassion, you're quieting that inner critic, you're transforming and reforming these thoughts and creating new neural pathways. You also need to remember that healing is not linear. So don't get discouraged if you have setbacks or if you need to have a check-in with yourself every so often and just ask yourself how you're feeling and how you're speaking to yourself. And maybe going back and taking a few steps back and starting towards the beginning and then adding things and building up. It's just about consistently working towards the goal. And eventually you will see the progress. It's also important to really surround yourself with a support system for this. Have your encouraging friends or family members that you can talk to as you're going through this, and you can share the wins with them. And if you need some support on the days where you feel like you're sucked back into this situation where you're spiraling out of control with the negative self-talk, maybe just having somebody who knows what you're working on and that you're trying to shift these things, maybe talking to them can help you figure out a way to reframe things if you're struggling to see it. You don't have to be in this alone. Having support is the best way to do it. And if you don't have a close friend, maybe you find a group to meet with, or you have a coach or even a therapist who can help you. But having support is instrumental in making this work and making these habits last. Even if it's just at first that you need somebody to hold you accountable and you tell them, hey, this week I'm going to do affirmations every morning, and in the afternoon I'm going to take time to do them again, and before bed I'm going to do my visualization. And maybe you just check in and you say, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't, or you even have somebody send you a reminder. It's whatever it takes to make these habits stick. It's so important to recognize and celebrate your growth. Self-compassion doesn't mean that you'll never have a negative thought again. What it means is that you'll begin catching them and reframing them more. So the next time that you catch yourself in a situation where typically you would be very hard on yourself and go into this spiral even, and you find that you didn't do that, that's something to really celebrate. That is huge growth. Even if it doesn't feel like it to you, it really is, because you are changing those thought patterns so they are forming new pathways. I want you to remember that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love, especially your own. Working on being more compassionate towards yourself is going to shift so many things in your life, and it's going to heal you on such deep levels. So just practicing and staying consistent is going to, over time, turn it into these amazing new neural pathways that will make you predisposed to positive thoughts rather than the negative ones. And I want you today to think of one thing from your past that you can forgive yourself for, and go back and look at how it shifted and made an impact in a positive way of who you are today. And throughout this next week, try to find one area in your life where you can be more compassionate with yourself. If this video resonated, leave a comment with one self-kindness practice that you're committing to this week. And if you haven't watched the previous video where you learn how to recognize your inner critic and how to reframe those thought patterns, you can check it out here.